Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll just carry on from you and with what you're saying, and then I think you say, I just want to make something clear, and then your point. That's good, isn't it?
Sure.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So we were talking about the distinction of when do you become or know that you're addicted to alcohol? How do you recognise that?
So it's when there's a need for alcohol, like you can't live without it. There's a difference between somebody who drinks a few glasses when they come home from work and somebody who feels the need to drink every night after work, gets up in the morning drinking, and that's showing that that their body is relying on it, and that the body for them needs it because it's become used to it.
Okay. So Harpreet, we talked a little bit about earlier before the show about, is there a safe level of drinking?
So in the past, there was a lot of research, and you probably saw it in the newspaper as well. You know, 1 glass of red wine keeps the doctor away. It's good for you, good for the heart. Now, what research has actually shown is that there is actually no safe level of alcohol that someone can consume without having some effect on their health. It used to be, the guidelines would be that in 1 whole week, a man, say for example, could only drink about 21 units. So that might be, say, 12 glasses of beer in a week, 12 pints. Now that level is reduced to 14. But the government is saying that although we're saying to you, you should only drink a maximum of 14 units in a week, really there's no safe level to drink. So that idea that 1 glass of wine is fine for you, that's not true. I know, like, there's a lot of people who are like, my dad, she's so old, she drinks, she's still drinking, she's still smoking. Granted, there are people out there who are very old and they're still drinking. Good for them, their health as well. But what I would say is that there is no safe level that the government recommend now, that as doctors that we can recommend, because it will affect you in some way or another.
So just to summarise, Sangatji, so what's really, really clear, and this is the latest research, what Dr. Harpreet has just told us here, is there is no safe level of alcohol that you can drink that will not have an impact on the body. And I think that's very, very key. So, you know, everything that you might have heard before or read before, you need to, you know, look at it from new eyes, which is there is no safe levels. That is the new government research. That is what's been found, and that's what we're talking about today. So, Dr. Daniela, you know, we talked about how do we recognise alcohol dependence. So this, you know, inability to function, so-called, without having a drink. So, you know, you've come home, you have to have a drink. I suppose the thing, what I'd like to understand now is, you know, from what we've just talked about, if there's no safe limit, what is the actual impact of drinking on the body? I mean, what happens to the body? What's the signs? How can we recognise that? So if I'm looking from outside, how do I see that? And I know there's a lot there that I'm asking you for, but could you shed some light on that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, alcohol affects the entire body, so from top to toe. If we start with the brain is probably one of the most affected organs in the body when it comes to alcohol, and it affects our mental health, the way we relate to other people. It can make us go into depression. It can also affect a part of the brain called the cerebellum, which is at the back of the head and coordinates our movements. And then another part of the body which is affected is the heart and the cardiovascular system. So like saturated fats and these things are bad for our hearts, alcohol is in very much the same way bad for our hearts as well. So you're more likely to develop a heart attack, or you can have a problem with the heart itself.
And with the heart as well, it can actually make the heart quite big, and the heart is like a pump. it pumps the blood all into your body, and if you drink quite a lot of alcohol for a long period of time, that pump won't work properly, and then you can get heart failure, pump failure.
And that's quite key, because that is when we're really talking about, you know, death in those circumstances. And, you know, so over time, drinking large quantities of alcohol or any amount of alcohol is affecting your ability, your life, you know, your basic sort of functions, your heart function. So it's not being able to pump blood around the body. That's what you're saying. And then you'll no doubt die.
And I think many people know about alcohol's effect on the liver. And so the liver is actually a very strong organ. It can cope with a lot. But when you have sustained levels of alcohol use, eventually it will go into liver failure, and this is a life-threatening condition, and is very difficult to treat as well.
But if you just keep on hitting it, bechara liver nahi ki karna hai na.
And without your liver, again, liver, heart, kidneys, all of those key organs, there is really, you know, the body goes into shutdown without those sort of organs. So what are the other impacts on the body of drinking alcohol?
So something which is less known about, I think, within the wider community is the effect on the pancreas. Now, not everybody might know what the pancreas is. It's an organ in the body. It sits just below the stomach, and it produces hormones such as insulin and many other hormones as well. Alcohol can cause the pancreas to become inflamed, and we can develop a condition called pancreatitis.
Which means inflammation of the pancreas.
Yeah, exactly. And actually you don't need to have been drinking alcohol for a very long time to develop pancreatitis. ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਹਸਪਤਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਸਰਜੀਕਲ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀ, ਇੱਕ ਮਰੀਜ਼ ਆਇਆ ਸੀ, ਉਹ 20 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੈਂਕਰੀਆਟਾਈਟਿਸ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ, ਤੇ ਉਹ ਕੱਲਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਵੀਕਐਂਡ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀਤਾ ਸੀ, binge drinking. But ਕੱਲਾ, it only needed to be one bad weekend, and the pancreas really took a hit. And after that he was prone to getting pancreatitis again and again, especially if he had some alcohol to drink. So I think it's important to remember there are short-term effects as well as long-term, because people might think to themselves, okay, well, I don't drink that much, or I don't drink that often, but having that binge can really have a bad effect.
And with sort of getting pancreatitis or pancreatitis often or regularly, what's the impact of that?
Yes, so you can develop something called chronic pancreatitis, and that means the pancreas itself stops producing those hormones. So you can effectively develop diabetes in a roundabout sort of way, but the pancreas also, when it becomes inflamed, it can kind of burst. So it can perforate is what it's called. And basically the abdomen all becomes inflamed because you have all these enzymes which normally break things down. It's breaking things down inside the abdomen.
It's actually attacking your body.
Exactly. So it can be very, very dangerous.
And that can lead to, so those enzymes, they're normally munching like fat. So if someone who's got chronic pancreatitis, so they have inflammation of their pancreas for a very long time, they'll find it very hard to eat foods that have got tail in it, or tail wale cheeze kha nahi sakti. Hamesha ode tid de vich koi dard ya, they'll want to lie forward because it feels better. And diabetes that will develop, that'll actually be very hard to control. It's not like arm diabetes where maybe you can take your tablets, take your insulin, look after your diet, and like your sugar levels will be fine. Chronic pancreatitis, which it's very hard to control your sugar levels. Nale ek galia ki koi bimari jo chronic ya, je chronic pancreatitis ya, chronic liver the effect ya, then there's a danger ki your body is trying to heal itself. It's trying to fix itself constantly. Kuch na kuch is trying to do something. And if the body's constantly trying to fix it, the cells are constantly changing, actually increases your risk of getting cancer as well, Sangat ji. So from one episode where, you know, unfortunately we saw the munda, he had a binge, and he got pancreatitis. He can get that in the future. And with Loka, jo unfortunately they have an addiction, they're drinking a lot every day. Then from a health perspective, that's very bad for them, because actually they're not only affecting their liver in terms of it's not working properly, but actually you're going to increase your risk of developing cancer. And gay look, actually they don't think that alcohol and cancer, they don't link it together very well.
So we've kind of gone from drinking, we've having an impact on the pancreas, we've got the possibility of that leading to diabetes, type 1 or type 2, and then ultimately leading to cancer. You know, and I'm sure there's other organ failure, other things that could happen from that point. So you can kind of see where drinking excessive alcohol, where it's going and what it's leading to. And obviously there's an impact of all of those things on the individual, but also the family setup.
Very much.
And we don't really talk about those things, because as a community we don't really talk about those things. ਅਸੀਂ ਲੁੱਕ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰ ਹਨਾ, ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਨਾ. We don't talk about how this sort of occurred.
Because sometimes, you know, if the arm thing is that jo tusi karana, tusi dekhna ki haan dairy cheese wo sharab pinda hai, then like you're saying before, that's part of your normal routine. You see that's happening, and then it might be that, you know, je tusi puchna ki dairy cheese tusi enna ki pinda, then it might be that like he might shout at you or something, or be like koi nahi, like this is fine, this is normal, it aam ya. Then you might think, okay, मैं just गले नहीं करनी है. I'm just going to sit back and just let things be.
It is a subject, I think, that we don't really talk about or handle very well. So if we don't talk about it, we can't address it.
No. And then it turns into a taboo. And Satsangaji, I know that from a health perspective, Hanji, alcohol is bad. But we don't want to say that if you drink alcohol, you're a bad person. Okay? This show isn't about saying to you that, you're a bad person because you're drinking this much. We want you to realize that sharab da vich bahut asar side effects hegi hai. But just because you're drinking it now, it doesn't mean that you can't stop. And it doesn't mean you're a bad person. And it doesn't mean that other people in the family can't talk about this with you and support you. Okay, it's just like any other health condition. If you have diabetes, if you develop cancer, if you have, if you break your arm.
And we have to recognise that actually
your family is going to help you, Hannah.
Alcoholism is an addiction. It's a disease just as much as taking drugs or smoking. It's actually a disease that you have to address and treat.
Yeah, and get support with. You know, we are here to support you. The thodical addiction hai, you're not alone, and don't think you're alone either.
And I think the reason it's so important to talk about this is so that we can help each other. That's what I was saying in the beginning, and I'll say it again, because we all need to be armed with the information. What can alcohol do to our bodies, and how can we help ourselves, and how can we help our family members? So ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜੇ ਡੈਡੀ ਜੀ ਬੈਠਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਪੀਂਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਆ ਤੇ
And that's really tough as well. Like, how do
Yeah.
you approach that sort of conversation?
It's very, very difficult, because I know we're saying that we don't talk much about alcohol, but it's like it's there. It's constantly there in the culture,
I think it's
in the
more,
background.
The elephant in the room.
the accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's become normal, and you know, but again, we are looking at the impact of drinking
Yeah.
excessively. One of the things that I wanted to pick up now is something about what is the impact of drinking or binge drinking or drinking alcohol in excess on the brain and the function and the capability of the brain.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier about its effects on the cerebellum and our coordination. It also affects the hippocampus, and this is a small part of the brain which is vital for our memory. So you find that people who've been drinking for a long time, that their memory will become very poor, and it can become poor to the extent where they can't form new memories.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I've done my A&E placements, I've met patients who have something called Korsakoff syndrome. So Korsakoff syndrome, and this is a syndrome where you've essentially lost that ability to make new memories. And you know, I went to see them to find out, what is the problem? Why have they come in? And they were not able to tell me what the problem was. For ਇਹ ਮਰੀਜ਼ ਆਂਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਬਿਮਾਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਤਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਂਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਕੀ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ.
So that's like an awful state of being to be in the sense that if you are unable to make memories, you can't have those family moments that would be like, you know, a birth of a child or a graduation or a, you know, or not being able to have those memories of that happening. That's like just sort of the impact of that on your ability to contribute to the family and your quality of life. It has a massive impact.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it affects every part of your life because you can't look after yourself. You know, you can't remember to go shopping and get some food for yourself, or remember to take your tablets,
Or turn up at work.
you know, all of these important daily things.
And then also with alcohol, in terms of its effect on memory, research has shown that it does increase your risk of developing called Alzheimer's disease. I don't know if Sangat, you've heard of this before. It's essentially where there's a build-up of a lot of gunk or a lot of protein in the brain, and there's lots of tangles in there.
Or chitta hana bol janda
Yeah,
na.
chitta bol janda.
You don't even know people who.
Yeah.
I mean, the impact of that, or seeing loved ones and sort of relatives having those sorts of issues, is they don't know who you are.
No, and drinking alcohol does increase the risk of developing Alzheimer's.
No, that's a very good point.
And of course, with an ageing population that we have now, so you know we've got lots of people who are a lot older who, you know, we all need to look after our family members. We need to be aware of what the impact of that is going to be.
No, exactly. So I think I hope that Sad Sangat ji can understand the effects of alcohol and how you know, it has the short-term effects, the long-term effects on the entire body, and that's why we need to talk about it.
Definitely. So, and then I just want to add one more thing, is that whenever because I've just finished medical school, so whenever I was learning about conditions, I'd always think, what's the effect on the body, what's the effect on the mind, and then also what's the effect in the social environment, or the environment. And alcohol is similar again. It does have effects on other people, has effects on your environment as well. For example, if you have jada alcohol sharab in there, then that can potentially affect your children. It could affect your relationship with your wife, with your husband, because remember, it's not only just just not just men. We always have this association that whoever's drinking the daru, it's the men. It's not only the men, women as well. And also it has effect on your finance. Sometimes people don't realize how much money they're spending on alcohol. And also working with your job as well. I think one of the things when you're talking about an addiction, one of the ways that we can define actually if someone has an addiction is that they're spending less time with their family and they're less time with their work and more time drinking.
Exactly.
So we kind of covered the social economic factors there, and something that I want to talk about. A family friend was having a conversation with me, and one of the things they said was one of their earliest childhood memories was they were about sort of 11 years old, and their dad would come home from being at work, and he'd come back with some friends, and they'd sit down and drink. The mum would be woken up at sort of in the middle of the night to sort of say, come down and make the prashad there, the rotiyan, so we've got guests, and they would which would happen, and towards the end of the evening, when the father had finished drinking and his friends had gone home, he'd be quite emotional and sort of, say loving things, but actually he was unable to get himself up to bed. He would be just sort of sitting there. And my family friend spoke about at the age of 11, him and his brother shouldering their father up the stairs, taking him to bed, and sort of undressing him, getting him ready for bed and putting him into bed, and sort of putting him to sleep for the end of the night. And the impact of such was that was his earliest sort of role model. That was his father, and he said that he saw that in his uncles and his grandparents, and that was something that had stayed with him to the point that was very much sort of he'd recognised was something that was going on with him as well. What we see, our Sangat, the Sangat that we keep has an impact on us about how we behave ourselves.
So then I wonder, so now you talked about that situation, like how would we advise the Sangatji to approach that situation? Like what advice could we give to that little 11-year-old of how do I talk to my daddy now about this?
Yes, that's quite of a key point there. So how do we address this? How do we work this out in our family? What can we do if we recognise an issue? What resources are available? What can an individual do? Be it 11 years old, be it a wife, be it a mother who doesn't know quite how to deal with the situation. What could we do? Because that's the key sort of step for the Sangat.
And how do we recognise it as well?
Yeah.
Like what should I look out for if Hanji Deji Mumji Jata Sharab Pindi si, then how am I going to recognise it, and then how am I going to help them?
ਫਿਰ ਜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, ਗੱਲ ਬੰਦ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਤੇ ਉਦਾਸ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਆ, ਤੇ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜੇ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ like if this is happening, then it is your responsibility to look after your family. In Sad Sangat ji, in our Sikh Punjabi culture, family is paramount. And looking after our own, and I think just because it's an alcohol problem, and we might feel ashamed about it, that shouldn't stop us from helping somebody who needs help.
Yeah, and you can go to if you have this issue in the community or in your family, you can go to the first port of call. I would say would be perhaps your GP.
GP,
Yeah.
definitely. There's a lot that they can do. And they are so used to dealing with these kinds of problems, so they can give you advice. They can give you advice as to what kind of support services there are in the community. And then there are support services that you can access yourself as well. So there are so many
Like alcohol.
charities.
Yeah, there's the Alcoholics
Alcohol
Anonymous,
Anonymous.
and then there's also the NHS website as well.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And sometimes you can actually, if through your GP or even through self-referral, you can actually go to a kind of like rehabilitation centres where you have like, you spend maybe 2 months or even 6 months in that centre, and then they will develop a program, and you'll go through that program with them where you'll kind of, you won't be allowed to drink, but then they can give you medications to help you deal with the withdrawal symptoms. Withdrawal symptoms होने हैं कि जदों तुसी नहीं शराब पीना, then you'll start shaking, उल्टियाँ लग जानियाँ, you might feel very panicky, sometimes people get hallucinations as well when they stop drinking, which is why it actually makes it very hard. And this is why it's very important actually कि जदों भी, whenever you're going to help, if you're going to try and help someone stop Sangatji, make sure that they've got the right support around them, because trying to stop drinking alcohol when you're so addicted to it, it's very scary, and it's actually, it can be quite medically, it can be very dangerous on your health. Tua dil jo hega, that starts to beat very, very quickly. You'll have hallucinations, you might hear things, see things, feel things.
Again, the doctor, your local GP could help with
Yeah.
that, support you, because it's not
Definitely.
just sort of self-diagnosis. There's a support mechanism
Yeah.
put in place to help
Yeah.
with that.
And they're gonna, and your GP can help you either by helping you get to the services that will help you withdraw safely, or they can refer you to the hospital so that you can withdraw safely. Because this is what is key. If someone is going to, if you want to help tackle the excessive drinking in terms of the medical side of things, it needs to be done in a safe environment.
Yes.
This is why it's very important. The pehla step, even GP John to pehla, is that person in that they themselves realize that hanji, ek problem hega. Yes, I'm gonna get some help. Okay, and as your family, as your friends, that's how you can help them. You can help them make that first step. Then they can go to the GP. Then they can go into the get medical support and then psychological support as well. Kiki, remember Satsangaji, that you got to look at the reasons why people might start drinking more. It doesn't happen overnight on its own. Kei bari they have bad experiences from when they were a child. They might have seen things, heard things. Things might have been done to them growing up.
Are you talking about sort of abuse or something like
yeah,
that?
like abuse. So sometimes people have such bad memories, and they would just, and they can forget it. They can get rid of that pain, that dukh, by drinking. And when you're, and essentially by and they're using alcohol as their crutch to help them deal with that pain, and it's very, very painful. So if you're then saying to this banda ki haan tusi sharab hun rehn do, chhad lo, it's not good for your health, hai na? That's fine, but you need to help them deal with their old problems.
But I suppose if you trying to get an alcoholic to admit he's got a problem,
That's hard.
is impossible. I mean, because they're never going to admit it. They're never going to see that. They don't. Or very often don't see that. So how do we deal with that?
So that's the thing. So that's the biggest challenge, really, is how to accept that you've got a problem. And I think that's where it's really important to have a full and frank conversation. Any kind of they'll be shouting, or maybe he won't listen to me, or like it's impossible. No. You have to be strong in yourself, and you have to say, "Nee, main gal karni hai. Main baith ke, we're going to talk about this problem. I'm not going to be shy. I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to hide it from my community." For example, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ if he doesn't feel like going out, very sad. Maybe if you're going to a party, say, "Nee, main ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ. I don't want to go. I don't want anyone to look at me." ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਣਾ, you're part of our family. Try and include them back into, because sometimes when people are addicted, they kind of fall out of their social circle. They don't want to be part of anything anymore, and you've got to bring them back.
So the question is, you have an individual who clearly the family or the wife or the children or the parents see them as an alcoholic. They understand there's a problem. The individual themselves hasn't accepted there's a problem. Can anything be done? I mean, just for the Sangat at home, you know, for jire dekhte aave, can you know, is it sort of have to be from the individual accepting that he's got a problem, ve main ha sharabi hega, or can the family and the parivar say sanu lagda thade ko ah cheez a, assi thanu help karna chaਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਲਾਜ ਕਰੀਏ, and then you know for that support to be in place for that to happen. Can that happen without them agreeing to it or acknowledging that they've got a problem or not? I mean, we're not okay.
ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਪਰ ਜੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਆਪ ਉਹ ਗੱਲ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਬੰਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ, ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਉਹ ਆਪ ਫਿਰ ਸੋਚਦਾ।
ਅੱਛਾ, ਫਿਰ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੋ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋ ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਨਹੀਂ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਸੁਣਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਆ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਘਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿ ਬਾਹਰ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤਾਂ ਬਸ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਾਰੂ ਜਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ।
And actually this reminds me कि एक बार ना साडी जो मैं अपनी GP practice करती सी, एक patient सी, he came and he was having very problems, और टट्टियां लगी सी, and कहने कि मेरा टट्टी है ना वो orange है, and मेरा ढिड काफ़ी दर्द बंदा, and I don't know why, and I'm feeling very tired. And फिर वो कहते कि मेरे वाइफ वो कहते कि मैं शराब ज़्यादा पींदा, and I didn't believe her. And he said my wife was telling me I'm drinking too much alcohol and this is why it's happening. And I don't believe it. Doctor, like, prove to me that she's wrong. And you know, took his history, मैं पूछा कितना शराब पींदा, etc etc. We did some blood tests and we could see that actually, he was drinking too much and it had affected him. So the very fact that his wife kind of raised the topic allowed him to make that first step. And then it was amazing, you know, this banda, he had the tests done, he saw how bad his liver had been affected, he slowly reduced his alcohol, and then now, and I think he was just about, you know, about 1 glass a day. Before he was drinking 1 bottle a day of whiskey, and things were getting better, and he was just like, I'm so glad that someone said this to me, because I didn't realize that actually I was causing so much harm.
So Sangat ji, ਸਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਬਣਦਾ ਆ ਹਨਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਵੀ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹਨਾ। ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਧੀ ਆ, ਪੁੱਤ ਆ, ਤੀਵੀਂ ਆ, ਆਦਮੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਮਾਂ ਪਿਓ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਿਕਰ ਕਰਦੇ, ਹਮਦਰਦੀ, ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਰਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਣਦਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਿੰਮਤ, ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦੇਣਾ ਆ, ਹੌਸਲਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਆ ਵੀ ਆਹ ਗੱਲ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾਈਏ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ, ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਦੇ ਜਾਈਏ ਤੇ ਹੈਲਪ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਰਿਜ਼ੋਲਵ ਕਰੀਏ ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਰਜ਼। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਿਹਤ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਰੱਖਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਰਤੀ ਲਾ ਸਕਦੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਅਸਰ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੌਤ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਤੇ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਸੋਚੋ ਵੀ ਗਲਾਸੀ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਛ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਵੀ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਕੈਂਸਰ ਹੈ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹ ਜੀ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਹੋਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਾਂ ਕੋਜ਼ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ, ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਡੈਥ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ ਜੀ। ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਣੀ ਸੀ, ਫਿਰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੈਲਪ ਦੇ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸਮਰਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ GP ਨੂੰ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਲਕੋਹਲ ਅਨੋਨਿਮਸ ਵੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਵੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤਾਂ NHS ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਵੀ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਸੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡੇ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਉਹ ਸੀਕ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਫੀਡੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈਲਪ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਜੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਹੈਲਪਲਾਈਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰੂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਦਊਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਸੋਚੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨਾਲੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਰਿਜ਼ੋਲਵ ਕਰੋ
And a helpline, is it anonymous? ਤੁਸੀਂ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
anonymous, yeah. Acha, that's very good then. That's very good to you because sometimes they don't want people to know that they have a problem.
Yeah, it's anonymous.
ਫਿਰ ਨਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਂਦਾ
I've never heard of this helpline.
Yeah, no, this is seek helpline. Okay, ਹੋਰ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ alcohol ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ
ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੱਲਾ ਹੀ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਸੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਭਾ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਾ ਸਾਊਥ ਹਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਇੱਕ ਫਰਸਟ ਸਟੈਪ ਫਾਊਂਡੇਸ਼ਨ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈ ਸ਼ਰਾਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ so there's an alcohol support service here in Southall. There's also a support service called
I'm going to push you for that.
Yeah, you'll push me.
Sorry, we can edit this back.
We can edit this out. It's called the Derby Recovery Service.
Right.
Derby Recovery Network, that's it.
Okay.
And it's based at the Guru Arjan Dev Gurdwara in Derby.
Okay.
Also for people who have problem with alcohol and want to talk about it. They ਜਦੋਂ ਇਹ ਮਦਦ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ just blanked out.
That's fine, keep going.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is that there is recognition within our community. We're not sweeping it under the carpet, and there are people you can talk to and people within the community who will understand, because some people might think, oh, if I go to the general NHS services that they might not necessarily understand our cultural background, but there are services out there. There's also the Shanti project in Birmingham which provides alcohol support service. So there are all of these things out there.
Okay, so Sath Sangat Ji, we've talked about alcohol today, and it's been a subject that alcohol is consumed in the community. We use it to celebrate, but we've talked about the impacts of excessive drinking and binge drinking and what it can do to the brain, what it does to the social fabric of our community. Pee ke ਫਿਰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸਮਝਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ and we've also talked about Sasangat Ji about the resources out there that are available, and those will appear at the end of the show that you can contact if you have any problems. So all there is for me to say is thank you to my two esteemed doctors. Thank you very much for making yourself available and providing this valued seva to our community. And all there is to say is Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Well done. Both of you, well done.
Was that okay?
I think so. I think so. I think we were okay. Yeah.
Let's see what
well done,
comments.
Well done. So that's very good. So don't worry about it. It's all good. Just keep flowing because it'll mix.
We'll cut it. So what I think we need from.
So food time is the downstairs.
Okay, so what we need out of this is just a summary of the organisation, because you talked about a couple, and then I'll put them on a slide, and then we'll have them at the end.
That number.
I've got a slide already with all of them on.
So can you?
Yeah, you've got like that number flashing on the screen.
We'll eat in here now, and then we're going to be ready.
Pakora it out, man.
Very good.
So hungry.
Do you want to sit down?
So you find the.
Can we get some chips?
Find the gobi paratha.
What is there in there?
Oh my god.
I've ordered a makki roti and
Oh, bless you.
saag for you.
Oh, my
What's
God.
this one?
There's the
There's the
Oh,
saag.
look, this is
There's your makki roti and saag.